the New York Jets. What do the Jets need to fix? First of all, Aaron Rodgers needs to not get hurt the second play of the game. That would definitely help. And
Actually,
then
it was the third. Casual.
actually, it was the third. Yeah, check me in the
Casual.
comments there. Yeah, I'm
Casual.
such a casual. Aaron Rodgers got hurt on the same third play. Sorry. And then also, your defense is really good. I wouldn't spend too much money there. Potentially cut CJ Mosley to free up some cap space. And then your running backs are good for the most part. I like your number one running back. However, you need two new tight ends and probably two new wide receivers there because Aaron
Mhm.
Rodgers buddies in Randall Cobb, a guy named Lazard, Tyler
The lizard
Conklin.
man.
It's just not going to get it done there. And then also Zach Wilson needs to be out of that building, and you need a backup quarterback.
Yeah, exactly. So they have $20 million in cap space. They've been able to finagle a little bit. You mentioned CJ Mosley. If they cut him, they'll save $17 million. And it looks like that's probably what they're going to do. They have Garrett Wilson and they have Brees Hall. They've been able to hit on. And obviously, their defense is top 5 in the league at this point. So they can do that. A couple of players they can restructure. They can restructure potentially Quinnen Williams' deal, save about 10 million. So cap space is somewhat available to them. They've been good with drafting offensive talent over the last couple of years with those two guys I mentioned. And then maybe they go out and sign a wide receiver. Do something with Adam Lazard. Get rid of him if you can. I know Aaron Rodgers will be upset, but paying him $10 million
To do what?
to do what? I don't know. I'm sure him and Aaron Rodgers are having a great time together, but on paper, this is a team that has kind of similar to the sense where ceiling, they win their division and could be in the mix for the playoffs. But at the same time, on the other end, Aaron Rodgers gets hurt again, and you're looking at another team that's could potentially finish last in their division.
Yeah, could definitely finish last in their division. And then Aaron Rodgers is not getting any younger there. So definitely worried about that Achilles injury. However, I do think you have the potential to win your division if you can get it right. However, the wide receivers in free agency, you'll probably have to settle for someone like Calvin Ridley or Gabe Davis. Gabe Davis wouldn't be the worst, but I don't love him being your two. He should probably be somewhere around your three. But this is also, you have pretty much everyone on your defense. So why don't we look to the draft to pair someone with Garrett Wilson? Maybe that receiver is going to be your two here. You go tight end in the second round, offensive line help for the rest of the draft and free agency, and then see if you can go out there and get Chris Godwin to be your three or your two. I think Chris Godwin would be a really good fit in New
Hmm.
York. Super Bowl caliber winning wide receiver, has that connection with Tom Brady. And then if everything is going well, everything is stable in the locker room where you feel like no matter who you add, you feel like you could survive it, call Antonio Brown.
Yeah.
Call
Antonio
Antonio Brown.
Antonio Brown with Aaron Rodgers would be a spectacle. I actually really like the Chris Godwin pairing because I think that the Bucks, they are, as much as they got Mike Evans, they re-signed him to his 2-year deal, so he's staying in Tampa. Still uncertain whether Baker will return or not, but Chris Godwin making a lot of money, you can go and pair him and Garrett Wilson as a pairing. I think is really nice. I know we have the Dolphins, but after them, I think that they'd have the second best receiver core in
Yeah.
that division. Stephon Diggs and who else? Patriots, obviously, we talked about them.
Yeah.
So I like Chris Godwin a lot in New York, and I think he would be a great pairing. And then maybe if you're in the mood for it, if he's still available, if they can get Brock Bowers as tight end, that offense now looks really good. And then really it's just their offensive line, which, obviously we know what happened week 1. Their offensive line was a mess. And then see what you get for Zach Wilson. You're probably going to get a 7th rounder or
Yeah.
maybe a 6th, but I just don't know who will be interested. But got to get him out of the building, get a second receiver, get a tight end, and then build that offensive line all over again.
Yeah, build that offensive line all over again. And then in free agency, it's really a question of who wants to go there. Like, who wants to be in East Rutherford, New Jersey? And then New York is having some issues just as a city overall right now. I know that doesn't affect you if you have a lot of money. But the Jets are still the Jets, and no one really goes there towards the end of their career and thrives. The last person who did that was Matt Forte and Eric Decker, and that was kind of a one and done thing. Todd Bowles was the head coach there. Ryan Fitzmagic had the best year of his career. Yeah. And maybe at wide receiver, you can go out there and trade for someone like a Alec Pierce from Indy if they want to go a little bit younger in the draft and just draft another receiver instead. But that would pretty much be your case there. And I think the Jets, if they had Aaron Rodgers there, probably win their division last year. And Brees Hall has proven he's one of those guys who he's just going to make a play and keep you, if it's a close game, he's going to break it open. We saw that versus
Yeah.
the Bills the first game. And then Garrett Wilson also made some of those plays. And then he's going to elevate with Aaron Rodgers. And then not having Zach Wilson in the building, being the quarterback, is just going to make that team miles better. But I think
Mhm.
this is Robert Sala's last chance. You can't do it this year. Sorry, we've tried. New culture, new team, and then Aaron Rodgers. If he gets to the playoffs this year, he probably only has 1 or 2 years left there. So you're probably getting a bunch of veterans on a 1 to 2 year deal there. And then no, Devontae Adams is not coming to town to save you. Sorry.